I'm gonna show y'all how I made this Oppidan and Sammy Virji style drop. Happy New Year's, everybody. I'm in my chair, I'm feeling comfy. I got this hat from my sister, and I got this kick as well. Wow, that's punchy. Now you know what I always say. We're gonna go ahead and cut that kick a little bit short. We're at 133 BPM, which is kind of fast, all things considered. You know, this is kind of a house UKG hybrid. So in those terms, 133 is kind of fast. If you're in FL21, you're gonna want to go ahead and create this curve. It's like a fade, and then you can just drag the shape, like the length of your kick to however you like it. If you don't have the latest version of FL, you can go declicking mode and select transient bleeding. Now this will automatically create kind of a similar effect. Oh, well, it's supposed to create a similar effect, but for some reason I'm not getting that. Forgive me, I don't know why. But yeah, transient bleeding, and then you drag it back. The reason we do that is so that we can have a shorter sidechain and have the sub more present. Also, just generally, I guess unless you're making techno or you just like the sound of your kick, you don't need all of it. In terms of what the kick actually looks like on a Parametrics EQ, here we go. Extremely punchy on the sub and the bass. And there's still quite a lot going on in treble, but it's not, as opposed to what I usually have, quite like a level kick. You know, we're more focusing on the sub. We really want the kick and the claps to sound extremely different from each other so that when we compress them together, it just sounds like a happy marriage. Speaking of the clap, here we go. Here's our first layer of the clap. Does that hurt your ears a little bit? Good. We got a lot of treble, and we're just, again, cutting off all of the sub and low mid because we got that in the kick, and this is how we want it. We're layering that with another layer here. You can see we've used the fade function to kind of get rid of the attack, to kind of add some attack. And again, quite a lot in the treble, nothing in the low, mids, and below. And we're using a little bit of fruity convolver to just create some reverb. And I like convolver. You can kind of shape the length of the reverb. So together the kick and claps sound like this. Yeah, you can hear there's a heavy compression on that. If you don't have Nani, you can get your own compressor, just kind of glue stuff together. I'm doing it to quite an extreme amount. If you don't do it, it sounds like this, which is quite clean, but now it sounds a little bit less loud. It's hard to explain. It's just a style. I just chose to have it kind of dirty like this because we're going for like a warm VHS-y tape kind of feeling. Alrighty, next up, we've got this like snare that we're using to create some groove. This is a pretty much trap / hip hop kind of snare. If you hear it with the metronome, it goes on this pattern. Yeah, that's just kind of laying the foundation for the rhythm we are following. It's quite swingy. It's off grid. When you layer it together with these hats that we have, you'll see it follows the same kind of pattern. And this here is just basically modulating some of the volume of the hats. To layer that, we've got another layer of hats, quite in the background, panned to the sides. Kind of a unique Parametrics EQ. I just didn't like the way this region sounded, so I reduced it, and then everything above is kind of boosted. And then as you can see, fruity stereo enhancer. I love this. It just like kind of pans stuff to the sides. It has a little bit of phase offset here towards the left, so it sounds wider. And we layer that with the other hats, you get this. Finally, there's just like this one shot of a vocal from an old TV show type thing with a ton of reverb. I don't know, just what I found a lot of Oppidan tracks, for example, there's like a lot of samples like that. And you could use this like in UKG. It's a cool technique to make something your own. And that's kind of like a step into the start of the drop, because we got the kick and then a one shot, and then the bass and chords come in. So let's talk about the bass and chords. Main thing you'll notice here is a very punchy sub. This is a sub from my Metamorphosis preset pack that you can find in the description down below. It's got over 50 presets just like this one that I have crafted over the years and put together into this pack. It's got lifetime free updates, so anytime I come with a new 10 or 15 presets, usually quarterly, I add them in. And as you can see, this sub is pretty simple. It's a very punchy sine wave, a compressor, a distortion, and a low pass filter. And there's literally no effects on that. It just sounds quite nice the way it is. And when we leave a lot of those bass notes in, we do not need to add another bass. You know, we don't always need to. I usually do, but if the sub has some bass to it and it sounds crispy, it sounds nice, maybe you don't have to add another layer. To create that thickness, we've just added these chords. Now I've made these chords, as you can see, just different kinds of shapes of sine waves. One oscillator is detuned with unison, which gives that wide feeling. The main thing really is the chord itself. I knew we were in G minor, so I just layered off of that. And then I found that if you just put the D of the key down, it creates quite a nice like lower bass note. Obviously, as you can see, there's a lot of release on there. And in post-processing, we are EQing it, low passing it, and high passing it to kind of create a band of the sound that we like. In the OTT, a little bit of depth. It's all blacked out because it's bugged, but a little bit of depth. And then we boosted the high and the mids a little bit and left the lows where it were. And then we put a little bit of sound goodizer on there to just compress it, make it feel really warm. And that gives it that VHS type sound. You can also use Vinyl, which is a free plugin, but for some reason right now it's not compatible with my FL Studio, so I couldn't use it. Otherwise, you should use RC20. I've never used it before though, but you could get this kind of sound too. So together with the sub, it sounds like this. Does that not make you feel fuzzy, like you just got a hug from someone you like? I know it does. All right, next up we got this flute layer that kind of, yeah, it layers with those chords. But together with the chords, it just sounds so good. Maybe it's not perfect, but maybe that makes it kind of nice. It's not perfect. That's pretty much it. Lastly, I just added this like acapella from Put Your Records On, pitched it down 200 or 2 semitones, 200 tones. I don't know, like I pitched it down 2 clicks to get it into G minor, and added some sound goodizer and a gate to kind of reduce, because when you compress something, all the empty space also goes up, unless you have a special kind of compressor. So then I used Gate. It's free, as far as I know, BPA Gate. If it's not, then excuse me. But basically, just make sure that those empty spaces are quiet. Otherwise, you have to manually go through. Unless you like the noise in between. I didn't. There's already a lot of noise going on. I'm rambling, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then you don't. So anyway, you obviously cannot really use this a cappella for commercial release, but you can use everything else in the song for commercial release if you would like to do so. As you know, this is a free FLP, so not only can you download it, but I'm saying like you can totally release it on your own terms. Just get rid of the acapella.
3 little birds out on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on concrete.
Man, it's beautiful. And I just wish it were for some reason okay to use that commercially. But if you were to post something on SoundCloud, you know, you didn't hear it here, but really, I don't think it matters too much. As long as you don't monetize the song, you can use acapellas. Together with the chords and the sub, the acapella sounds like this.
3 little birds out on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on concrete.
I think that's beautiful. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. It's been an incredible year, and I'm so excited to get into this one, 2024. What could you ask for more? What more could you ask for? Anywho, if you did like this video, be sure to not only like the video, but subscribe. Because we're so close to 2,000 subscribers, and maybe by the time you're watching this, we have hit that milestone. I also think you should check out the links in the description. You'll find our Discord community where we chat, we share samples, and we just kind of talk about production like this. It's also the Discord community of my newly established record label. So there's a little bit of cross-pollination going on over there. It's a really fun community. There's like 200 people in there now. I didn't expect it to grow that fast, but you can also find a free drum kit that's kind of bass house, tech house inspired, but you can use this stuff for UKG as well. There's a bunch of drums in that and it's free, but there's also my Metamorphosis preset pack. Now that's how I monetize the channel. So if you do want to support the channel or you're looking for some new presets for Serum, then be sure to check out Metamorphosis. And if you want to know my top tips to get a louder mix, you know, to just make your track sound overall louder, then click this video that's about to pop up on screen. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.